UK women's rights activist Kellie-Jay Keen has issued a defamation concerns notice against the ABC and also against Victorian Opposition leader John Pesutto. Joining me now is founder of Let Women Speak and leader of the brand new political party, the Party of Women, Kellie-Jay Keen. Kelly, why are you taking this legal action?
Well, I think it's about time that people in positions of responsibility took some responsibility and accountability for some really quite pernicious, vile lies.
Well, the commentary after this rally in Melbourne was quite astonishing, I've got to say. The hostility you face, the misrepresentation of yourself, the rally. I've got to say personally, it was some of the worst reporting I have seen in this country. Afterwards, you went to New Zealand and you were met with violent, enraged protesters there as well. That led to a review. There was going to be a review launched by the police watchdog that started back in July, and yet we still don't have a release of their findings. What's happening with the New Zealand case?
Well, that's going to take a couple more months. I mean, I think it takes a long time for the police to admit that they belong to the rainbow cult and they've been duped into really no longer protecting women. And I think New Zealand has its own historical issues with not protecting women anyway. I think they have some pretty horrendous domestic violence rates in New Zealand. But what happened in Melbourne and the things that John Pesutto and ABC said about it, that had repercussions all over the world. I won a defamation case against the Independent newspaper, the first of its kind, so I'm told, in which I claimed damages against them repeating the sort of lies that John Pesutto told.
Well, the entire rally was presented as an anti-trans rally. Most of the media reporting did not call this what it was, which was a women's rights rally. Why do you think that is? Why is the media so quick to misrepresent what your movement is about? And we've got a lot of women in the media who are a part of that.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it? I think it was Madeleine Albright who said that there's a special place in hell for women who don't help other women and sell us out. I do kind of understand what women do. I think women often fight against other women, and there's a competitive niceness, and it's all very dishonest, and it's because they just can't come out and speak because they're expected to be kind all the time. But that Melbourne rally was, there was such an incredible speech by a young woman from Melbourne. It's up there with one of my favourites. I've heard so many speeches over the years. But it is about women's rights. It's about not obliterating what it means to be a woman. It means not erasing our language, not diluting our language, not using it for men, not welcoming men into women-only spaces. And I know you've got quite a lot of cases and other things going on in Australia that will help the general public to see that. But, you know, you're still doing pretty horrendous things to children's bodies as well. So I think all of that needs talking about. And if you can castigate women who speak out as something anti, as opposed to something that is a concept that people can't quite get their head around, as opposed to the mutilation of children's bodies and the obliteration of women's rights, then you have a better chance in just ignoring what we say.
If there was a fulsome apology from the Victorian Opposition leader, would you cease your action against him?
Oh, I don't know. How sorry can you be if it's not very painful? I would like a full. I would just like a full apology. I would like his admission that he didn't do his due diligence. And even when he was shown that he was talking utter nonsense, he stuck with it. He stuck with the lies. And as for your state broadcaster, I think it's really irresponsible and shameful. You know, they've all got deep pockets. I'm quite happy to take their money. But that's not the reason that's not the reason I'm doing it. I just don't want these. Look, I'm a confident woman. I have a platform. I can tell everybody it's not true. It has had impact on me going forward because people just bring it up all the time. And he totally legitimized the idea that those awful men were there on my side. And so I do think he needs to pay for it. But, you know, I'll happily take humiliation and a big apology. That would be a very nice starter.
Now, Kellie-Jay Keen, it's a 2-year anniversary of your Let Women Speak tour. It certainly has moved the dial on this crucial issue. What's next? What is more of Let Women Speak, or do you see another goal for this movement?
Well, it's world domination, Rita. So we're starting with Party of Women. Party of Women is a single issue political force. So we've just registered in the United Kingdom. It's actually taken me 11 months for a 6-week process to get it through. I had to spend a fortune on constitutional lawyers in order to pass it through the Electoral Commission. But then now that we're registered here, there's no reason there can't be a Party of Women in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, America, throughout Europe and the world, because women are facing this existential threat in every single country on the planet, certainly very much so across Europe, all the EU countries, you know, places where you just wouldn't imagine, even in Japan, they are beginning to have their rights stolen by this pernicious, cultish ideology.
You mentioned Europe. I saw some footage earlier today from Spain. I can't even play the footage here because it is just so objectionable. But it was a pride rally, it looked like. We had little kids, children, dressed up in very sexualised outfits, waving rainbow flags, marching down the middle of a street with people gathered around watching and clapping. And I've got to say, I'm not easily shocked anymore, but even I was shocked that that can happen in Spain, where the people are looking at that and not finding any fault. And I wish I could blur it out, but I can't even show that footage blurred. It is that reprehensible.
Yeah. Well, I think your viewers might think sexualised is sort of an exaggeration, but if we say the word stockings and suspenders, then perhaps they have some idea of prepubescent children. I believe they might have been boys. I don't think it actually matters. I think it's pretty revolting whether they're boys or girls. This is completely inappropriate content. But I just think once you can force a population to believe the lie that a man can be a woman, that it is okay to say born in the wrong body, and that has some sort of meaning beyond nonsensical, just doesn't make any sense whatsoever, silliness. But once you can convince a population that a male baby can grow up into a grown woman, I think all bets are off. And actually what this ideology does is it begs of people just to suspend all common sense and all notion of what they know to be true in order to push it.
Kellie-Jay Keen, thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thanks so much.
Now, we did reach out for comment from both the ABC and John Pesutto. The ABC has told us they have no comment, and John Pesutto has not answered the request.